Hi again. I just did a little introductory video, but just to recap, my name's Claire and I'm a feminist, British woman, and I want to talk a little bit about what's been going on this week in feminism, because there have been some concerns expressed by largely by British women who are by and large very hot on safeguarding. It's something that we really we do that day in, day out. We safeguard children. That's what mums do. And many of us have had some kind of professional training that involved learning about safeguarding, because some things are kind of counterintuitive. But a conversation has been started about safeguarding. So I wanted to make it clear that, you know, these are my opinions. You may have your own opinions. We don't have to agree. Civil discussion and debate is the keystone of our democracy. So it's really important that we're able to have those conversations. Right, let's get to the meat of the matter. So there has been all sorts of kerfuffle. As far as I can work out, it started when an open letter was written. Now, I haven't signed this open letter because I don't sign open letters when I don't know who has written them. So, you know, totally respect the right of women to write letters anonymously. I understand why. And so, although I haven't signed the letter, I did read it. And, oh, crikey, that's the oven. Okay, rescued the situation in the oven. So, back to where we were. A conversation started because of an open letter. And the open letter expressed some concerns around the leadership of the Canadian branch of the LGBT Alliance. And the person who was they were raising questions about, I don't know the name of, because although this person is in a leadership position, he doesn't disclose his real actual name. So that to me is, you know, a red flag, because obviously one of the things that I would advise people to do if they are trusting their children to get in contact with an organisation is to, you know, you can always Google people and find out if there's anything online about them. And, you know, it's difficult to do that when you don't have someone's real name. Anyway, that's an aside. That's not the main issue. The main issues were to do with various tweets going back some time. This individual had put on his Twitter bio that he enjoyed this particular relationship, this historical relationship between a Roman emperor and a slave boy of 13 who died early when he was 19 or 20, and the emperor venerated him and built statues to him, and there's a whole lot of like classical artwork related to this boy, this young man, as he became. But obviously the thing for feminists is that we go, that's an odd thing to write in your biography because you've not got many characters. So to focus on that is odd. And in the same way, if somebody wrote, you know, I heart Humbert and Lolita, you would go, that's an odd thing to concentrate on in your bio. So anyway, that's another a little flag. So there are other little flags. So there are things like the fact that this individual has defended in tweets another bloke who is a psychologist, sexologist. I don't know if he's a psychologist actually. I know he's a doctor of philosophy, obviously not a medical doctor, but I believe that he comes to it from psychology. He could come from it from sociology, of course. Not sure. Anyway, this particular bloke, James Cantor, is well known for his advocacy for men with paraphilias. So if you are going to call a man like that your friend and defend him in tweets when it's really, it's not your party, then that's another little red flag. A lot of women will notice that and go, that's an unusual thing. So right, so there are other things as well, I'm sure, but those for me are the things that immediately come to mind. So a lot of women said, this is odd. There are these red flags, and this guy is in a position of leadership. So they wrote letters to the Canadian LGBT Alliance, and they got really, nonsense back, basically saying, you can't tell me anything. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, which absolutely you can. You can do things the way you want them, but if you're a political movement or an advocacy movement, then you want to inspire confidence in people. And to do that, especially when you want to be in loco parentis or be an influencer of their children, you have to dot the I's and cross the T's when it comes to safeguarding, because women will hopefully rely on their gut. And if something strikes a chord that makes them go, not sure about that, don't let your children have contact with that person, whether, whoever they are. I would say that's a general rule. So the response to these questions, obviously, is another red flag then, because if you're not responding with, right, we've got a safeguarding procedure, you've raised concerns, I can tell you that this person is our safeguarding lead, they will be dealing with this conversation moving forward. So the organisation has a designated safeguarding lead. We can assure you that all our officers have undergone X training in safeguarding, so they all understand the basics of safeguarding. And I can assure you that we will investigate this matter, and we will ensure that all safeguarding procedures are being followed. So that would be what a normal organisation would say in response to any safeguarding query about any of their staff. So the issue then becomes the fact that you've got this very new organisation, the LGBT Alliance, who, are fighting a heck of an uphill battle, and they are a great bunch of people doing a good thing. But the Canadian branch is being run by this guy, and when safeguarding issues are raised, there's not the correct response. There's not the response that makes people think this organisation has a safeguarding process, and I can feel reassured that, my concerns will be addressed in the appropriate way. So women having those concerns are not trans rights activists. They are not dealing with, information that's being fed from prominent Canadian trans rights. I mean, it's just crazy. We've been on Twitter a long time. There's been a lot of conversation about this particular safeguarding issue. But the really valuable thing that's come out of this, first of all, on a personal level, I have found some incredible women to follow on Twitter whose grasp of safeguarding is so key. And really, these are the women that we need to be embedding in all these organisations that we're creating. Because if we do not embed safeguarding as a kind of key principle in our organisations, then they will fail, and they should fail. Because, that's essentially the critique that we make of so many other organisations. So, there's been a lot of hoo-ha since this all kicked off, and people have kind of become polarised, and various people have been drawn in and defended this person and defending that person. And one thing that's been exposed is that this is not the only organisation with poor safeguarding. The YouTube channel run by Karen Davis, which is called You're Kidding Right, she's done a whole series of videos on this. I don't blame her. I mean, it's a really dreadful but compelling drama, you know, that these threads are being pulled on by women, and as it unravels, oh my God, there's this organisation and there's that organisation. So I might do some more videos looking in detail about those various things, but I'd like to thank Karen, who I don't know, as well as prominent individuals. Kellie-Jay did a fantastic video talking about being woman-centred as being concerned with the safeguarding of women and children. You know, 100%, I back you. That's exactly what we must be doing. I'm not so concerned with the drama about personalities and various people. I think that safeguarding has to be beyond personalities. And one of the principles of safeguarding, which is really difficult to take on board, because like I say, it's counterintuitive, you have to be prepared to believe the worst is possible. You don't have to believe the worst of people, but you have to believe that it's possible that this person that you've known all your life, that, you know, you have a relationship with that is fine, or joyful, or, you know, however your relationship is, if an allegation is made that there's a safeguarding issue in relation to that person, the fact that you have a personal relationship with that person does not mean you don't follow safeguarding procedures. I mean, you just have to follow them. That's what they're there for. And so the relationship that you have with someone when they have a safeguarding issue in relation to sympathies, that, I mean, you know, these are small flags. These are not big flags. These are not, this person has been in contact with children and has told them, you know, X, Y, or Z, or has suggested, you know, these inappropriate things. We're not talking about that. We're talking about safeguarding red flags that are small red flags, that are the kinds of things that should be able to be resolved fairly simply by any organisation with a decent safeguarding process. So the thing that's come out of this for me is that we really have to do better at embedding safeguarding in our organisations in the same way that we have to embed accessibility. You know, these have to be embedded in organisations from the get-go. There's no point building these organisations and then thinking, that's nice, we could do a bit of that later, because that's never going to work. And, you know, we have to be able to say to people, we hear you, we've got a safeguarding issue, the team is going to look into it, and this person will be in contact with you with the results of any investigation. I mean, you could even say, you know, you have to leave it with us because it's, you know, commercially sensitive or whatever. I mean, if you want to do that, you have to rely on a level of trust from women. But you have to have documented evidence that you have addressed these safeguarding issues. That's what it means to be a responsible organisation. And even embryonic organisations really need to address this. That it's not good enough that there are organisations on our side of the fence that are not up to speed with this. Come on, we can do better. Thanks for watching.